here we are, more camera testing. This time it's the little Hero 17, I think it is. A very simple little GoPro camera, which I wanted to sort of do a comparison really. This is bolted to the front of the handlebars on the Honda 750. The sound obviously is no good because it's just wind raw. It's not really kitted out for that sort of thing. But generally, first impressions are it's actually pretty damn good. Not too much bouncing around. I think it's got a sort of a very rudimentary stabilisation function on it, but generally it sort of does what it does. For my purposes, it's not all bad. I've got a Hero 11, which is much better obviously, but I don't know really why I bought it, but I've now got 3 cameras. As I say, the wind noise, even if you're just using it in the garden, let's say, is a problem on it, but then it's probably putting those windsock things on it and it would probably nullify a lot of that. But generally it's pretty usable. I like the idea that it's just turn it on and shoot with it rather than faff about with a lot of settings. This one I've set at the moment to 60 frames a second, and what I'm really interested in seeing is how it sort of acts in changing light, you know, under trees and things like that, which we get a chance to sort of experience a little bit later on in the video. So it's reminded me that I don't really need that much of a camera. Really, this one is, I tend to use this one a little bit like a dash cam, although of course it's a complete faff to keep on with the batteries. It goes about half an hour, 20 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, pretty much the same as the other one. This car then surprised me, but quick shoulder check and go around. Yeah, it seems to work fairly well. As you say, the sun came out, which was handy, and we got a particularly bumpy roundabout here, and you see it's a little bit of shake, but really, generally, the camera seems to be having a degree of stabilisation. Bear in mind, the Honda is quite a bouncy sort of, well, the front suspension is probably worn to destruction really, so it bounces about quite a lot. You can see the clock's bouncing up and down, but the stabilisation on the camera is managing fairly well. So I'm quite impressed, and a little bit sort of, well, I'm very impressed at the moment. I say that it breaks. I've tended to have a problem with this one before where it seemed to break up under trees, but that's probably, well, it may be improved because I've set it to 60 frames per second. How it will come out on the YouTube when it sort of amends it all and reconstitutes it to what it wants it to be, I'm not quite sure, but for the moment I'm impressed. And I say we're sort of bouncing around the back lanes of, well, between Reading, this is Sonning, and what do we go through? Actually going up to Binfield and back just on an errand, delivering some bits that were left at my house. But generally it's impressive. I'm still messing about with editing. I've got a wedding to do, not to do. I'm not making an official video or anything like that, but my wife wants me to make a video for her mother, so I need to sort of get my head a little bit better around various editing and messing around with it, which I'm doing. And generally it's all sort of quite sort of impressive. I'll obviously take the Hero 11 and this one across, so I can just swap them out then as in needs be. We're here in Twyford, and you'll see in a second the Missenden Flyer. I'm pretty sure that was him and his good lady on the back. Probably just out for a Sunday jaunt. I don't know whether it's filming, you don't see. But generally here under the trees, this is where it's really gonna test it, and I think, I say that it seems to be pretty reasonable on what I'm seeing at the moment. This is just in the editing suite, so once it's on the full screen I may think I've been rubbish. Whether I publish this video or not, I'm not quite sure. I'll see how it sort of looks, and there's no real purpose to it other than, as I say, testing what is really a very, very basic camera, and having a little bit of a ride out on some nice lanes. Nothing too fast on these little lanes. There's other horses, bicycles, or various obstructions that you're going to run into. I think I sort of, one chance I get to open it up, but what you can't hear, of course, because of the wind roar, is I've repacked a silencer, Delvic silencer on this, and it's just been, it's fine, it's good, it does everything it should do, except it doesn't silence. It is the noisiest thing, to the point of, bangs and crackles and roars, and it's just not befitting, what is it, 40, 50, I don't know how many years old this bike is, but yeah, it was bugging me, and it just kept on, I kept on messing around with it, trying different things, and in the end I got there the other day, shoved a load of wadding down before the silencer. That actually did nothing whatsoever, and then I've packed the actual baffle with some wadding, and that seems to have worked, and I don't know if it's imagination, of course, could be, but it seems to run a lot better. It's no longer banging and crackling so much on overrun. I'm quite prepared to admit that the carbs are not what they should be. It's all a bit sort of badly worn. It's not a show bike, it's just a riding bike as far as I'm concerned, and it's just rubbishy noise, and of course the problem with the Honda 750 is it basically they do run at high revs. I mean, even when you're doing, well, we just crack it open now to about, just it rattles on a little bit now, and even at sort of moderate speeds, the engine's doing 4,000 RPM, and it sounds like it's making a lot of revs, even when it's relatively not. Obviously, that's the addition of, I suppose, 4 pistons going up and down makes a difference. But the it's an interesting thing. So we feel we've cracked a couple of problems. The Honda is another reason for the ride. Actually, I've just done an oil change on it, which is attempting. It's got a little bit of a nasty juddery clutch sometimes. Just a little bit, sort of doesn't bite right, and it just feels like it might be oil. Well, it's bound to be. I've had the clutch out, I've checked it, turned it inside out, cleaned it, blah 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 blah. Everything seems fine, but it has got a nasty tendency to judder. As earlier on the ride, it was quite nasty, but we've got different oil in it now. I'm trying a fully synthetic, which is the Castrol Power 12050, I think. Simply because I'm trying to sort of get this clutch to, I say break in. It's a new clutch, but yeah, it shouldn't have ever been like this. So I've checked it to see if there's anything running out, anything crooked. It just seems perfect, but judder and kick and spit, and it's just a bit unpleasant. But I must confess, during this ride, say it's brand new, fresh oil, filter, etc. But during this ride, it seemed to improve mightily. So I'm hopeful that we're going to get over that problem. The problem with these old bikes, it's just a constant something you should do. But so the oil, I run it for 1,000 miles on the oil. So every time there's an oil change, I run it at 1,000 miles. So it's just on 2,000 miles on this clock. It's not a 2,000 mile bike, of course. So it's now got up to 3,000 before it's changed. You would have noticed there, you may have noticed there was a couple of Jeeps went past us. We're now at June the 2nd, and the D-Day is forthcoming, so there's a lot of vehicles. I'm guessing either those, and the ones I've seen to date, I saw a couple of big American trucks, the sort of 8-wheelers, or the 4-axle ones, and I guess they're off to France, where the big celebrations are. They might be under Portsmouth, but I'm guessing at this point in time they'll be on a ferry somewhere. That was a couple of the little Willys Jeeps, which people keep and restore, and they're worth good money, but they're very much the enthusiast thing, not like a classic car per se, but historical vehicles in that sense. So that's all going to be going on this coming week. Unfortunately, I would have gone across, but as I say, I have to go to a wedding, and the wedding is in Kos in Greece, on the Greek islands, which will be very nice. But of course, weddings are weddings. It means you're not on holiday, you're at a wedding. So that's going to consume my time next week, and it's my stepdaughter, so we can't even cry off of that. It's a must-do. Wife's getting all very excited, and as I say, that's really part of the camera testing thing, is because I want to know that I've got something reliable I can pick up and grab and use. And at the moment, yeah, I've got the Hero 11, a couple of batteries. I've got this Hero 7 2017 Hero, whatever it's called, the basic one, all of which will give me enough to sort of play with and use throughout the day. And I can compile something for my mother-in-law. Unfortunately, is now not well enough to travel, and she would have loved to have been there, obviously, and seen the day go by, but I think it's going to be very hot, and it's somewhat of a remote location, so it's going to be a proper sort of I wouldn't say a Mamma Mia wedding. I suppose it will. There'll be a lot of that sort of, a lot of drinking and fun and what have you, but it's going to be a long day in a lot of heat, and there's going to be a lot of kids there as well, so it's quite a big family event. So I'm quite looking forward to that in a perverse way. But as I say, you get out on the bike and get these cameras tested, and then I can just put them in a box and be ready to roll then, and get across there and use them. But as I say, these at the moment, this is proving to be a useful dash cam, because obviously I've got a Drift Ghost XL, which I can fit on one helmet, which is the showy helmet, but I've got a couple of other helmets, an open face helmet, and I think I'm wearing at the moment on this ride an AGV flip front, which is a bit heavy, a bit I could put it on there, but I don't. I've not bothered with it. So if I jump on one of the older bikes, I can put a clip on the front of the bike with a camera on it, and you just sort of, if I want to grab some footage, I can. And I'm not paranoid about the dash cam thing, but it's useful just in case, especially when you're on an old bike like these. And of course, there's always the chance the thing will just break down or pack up in some way or form, and you've then got a little bit of footage of it. So it's all a bit of fun, really. So that's about it, really. We'll just finish it off there and see if this is satisfactory, and catch something probably a bit more interesting on the next one. I think we're due to go to Wales soon. When I return from Kos, I think I've got a couple of days in Wales, but whether I'll get any footage, I think the people there are a bit tetchy about being filmed. Strange though it may seem, but we'll see if we get anything and if there's any fun to be had.